Welcome to the Stop Overdrinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving working moms come to learn how to stop overdrinking, reduce overwhelm and anxiety, and show up like the players they were meant to be. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik, and let's dig in. Welcome to episode 45, Life Coaching versus Therapy. What's up? How are y'all? So good over here. Last week was Halloween. I have to tell you, for the first time in my adult life, I did not have Halloween candy on Halloween. Crazy, right? Maybe some of you don't think that's that crazy, but for somebody like me that has eaten copious amounts of candy on Halloween, it was a huge achievement. I'm super proud of myself for that. I was very intentional. I planned ahead of time. I was not eating candy. I just told myself that I can have that stuff whenever I want it. It's nothing special. And it took away that sort of urgency and sort of like, oh my gosh, this is the only day of the year that I eat this stuff. And the truth is, I really don't like Halloween candy. Like, I don't buy it, really. Like, my favorite types of candy, if I were to plan to eat candy, would be like peanut butter M&Ms or like a dark chocolate. So it's definitely not like traditional like Snickers bars or taffy or Twix or any sort of that kind of candy, right? So for me, I just knew that I could have it if I really wanted it anytime. And that helped me just say, I don't want it on Halloween and I'm not going to have it. So I went to bed feeling super proud of myself, waking up feeling proud. I'm working on my race on Thanksgiving. I'm working with a personal trainer who is kicking my ass twice a week, lifting heavy weights, free weights, challenging me in all sorts of the ways, and I'm loving every second of it. So it's all awesome. My mom is here in town. Hi, Mom. She came in from Indiana to be with the kids for a few days, and that's been so nice having her here with the kids and having some mom and daughter time. It's been awesome. So this week, I want to talk to y'all about the differences between a life coach and a therapist. And we have a lot of options for help, which is really good news. And I'm going to stay focused on the issue of overdrinking. So as I'm going through this podcast and talking to you about life coaching versus therapy, know that I'm talking about solving the problem of overdrinking. Okay, so if you're like on the fence of hiring a life coach versus a therapist, or a more traditional method to stop overdrinking, that this episode is addressing these two options. There's many more than these two options, but I'm going to address the difference between these two options when we think about overdrinking, right? So right now we have Alcoholics Anonymous, we have alcohol treatment centers, we have self-help books, we have therapists, we have inpatient and outpatient treatment programs, we have life coaches, we have our religions, so many avenues to take when we look at how to solve our overdrinking issue, which is such good news. This has not always been the case, right? And the main area, again, I want to focus on this episode is what is life coaching to help solve overdrinking. I'm also going to talk about the difference between that and therapy. And I'm going to tell you what this means, and then I'm going to tell you how it's different than a counselor or therapy for this issue. Not better, just different. Okay, so the first part of this is, what is a life coach? Well, in the most general terms, a life coach is a coach for your life, just like we have coaches for sports like football and baseball and tennis. And even in those sports, you have specialized coaches for things like coaching for just pitching or batting or defense, right? Those coaches can help you improve in one specific area of your sport. Well, life coaching works exactly the same way, right? There are general life coaches who help you in all areas of your life. And then there are coaches who specialize in one area, like me. I help women stop overdrinking. So life coaching for overdrinking is someone who coaches you to improve this area of your life. So if you are someone who overdrinks and you know that it's affecting how you live, or it's preventing you from achieving your goals or moving forward and doing bigger things, then getting coached in this one area can help you stop overdrinking and then focus on doing those other things that are more important in your life and will add more joy and fulfillment to your life if you were to accomplish them. You guys staying with me here? Okay. I sort of wish there was a better name or for what life coaches do. But for right now, we help you see obstacles to your goals and help you remove them and to gain new skills that will help you handle those obstacles better instead of doing the things that you don't want to be doing, like drinking or eating or avoiding. Okay? Having a personal life coach means that a life coach is there to help you reach your goals. Life coaches help you create goals and to have deadlines on when you want to accomplish them, and then they work with you to make progress towards your goals. A life coach helps you understand where you are now in your current abilities, and together you and the coach come up with a plan on where you want to go. Okay, so you establish the goals and then you create a plan together. So if you want to stop over drinking or lose weight or improve your relationships, find a relationship, climb the career ladder, overcome loss, big life transitions like becoming an empty nester, going through divorces, all that life coaching to get help in all of those areas can be super helpful and can change the trajectory of your life. A life coach's first job is assessing where you currently are. Second, it's creating goals. And third, it's execution of your goals. Okay, so we look at first of where you currently are in your life, what results you currently have. The second part is creating goals that you want to achieve that you don't have yet. And third is the execution part of achieving your goals. How life coaches do that depends on where the life coach was trained or their own personal transformation experience. First of all, you don't have to be certified to have a life coaching practice. There's no sort of law or governing body, even though many institutions like to tell you that that's true. That isn't. Anybody can call themselves a life coach, put up coaching available, and coach and charge money for it. Okay. I do have a certification through, I believe, the best school in the world called the Life Coach School. Huge investment in that, lots of time. We had group sessions and training for many, many months and continued support for our career as life coaches. So, but that does not mean that one is better than another. You have to find the person that resonates with you and who you believe will help you. Okay. So how, again, we do that as a life coach depends on where you were trained or their own personal transformation. The how I do this in my own practice is by evaluating my clients' current thoughts about their current circumstances. Okay. So I do this by asking questions like, what do you think about your ability to stop over drinking? Then the client's answer reveals what they are thinking, and then I can show the client how that thought is helping them towards their goals or is keeping them stuck where they are. If the current thoughts aren't serving them, right, if it's causing them to stay stuck or go backwards, then I coach them on how to think differently, which will produce a new result. I always have my clients' goals in mind during this process. So if they tell me they are thinking in a way that makes them feel a negative emotion and then they drink from that negative place, then we know that that thought doesn't serve them, right? So then I would coach them to think differently about it so that negative emotion isn't produced, and then they take action from a more positive place towards their goals instead of against themselves. You guys staying with me? So a skill that I'll help my clients learn is how to think differently about all the big areas in their lives instead of just accepting your first automatic thoughts. Another skill I help my clients develop is learning how to feel their feelings instead of avoiding them or buffering them with food or alcohol. And most of us don't know what it means to feel our feelings. We think because we know what sadness feels like or anger, we know what feelings are, but we don't. Trust me, we don't. I've been at this for a while now, and I am just scratching the surface of the power of human emotions in my own life and helping my clients see the power within themselves. Feeling our feelings is learning how to process vibrations in your body instead of acting on them. Okay. Right now, a lot of you are acting on your feelings such as anxiety or stress or overwhelm or boredom or lack, and you act by drinking to feel better or to increase a positive feeling you might be experiencing. And this is something you want to really look for when you are considering your options for help with overdrinking or overeating. People that overdrink and overeat are always doing it because of a feeling they currently don't have, or it's a feeling they want to feel. Every single time. I don't care if you think that doesn't apply to you. If you are somebody that overdrinks and overeats, it 100% does. Okay? You wouldn't be here listening to an overdrinking podcast if this wasn't the case. So learning how to feel and understanding which feelings you have not been willing to feel is probably the most critical work you can do to make permanent changes with your relationships to food and alcohol. All right. My training and my background with food and alcohol makes me an expert in helping you identify which feelings are driving your behaviors. And I coach using a model that was developed by Brooke Castillo at the Life Coach School that can solve any problem in your life. And I've talked about this many times on the podcast, but basically it's a model that looks at your current thoughts and how those thoughts are creating a result in your life. And our thoughts and beliefs have created the results we currently have in our lives, okay? And if you want new results, we have to start with what you are currently thinking and understanding how those thoughts have generated feelings in which we take action from or avoid feeling. And just seeing how your current thinking is creating results for you can be totally life-changing. Then you get to decide if you want to keep thinking those thoughts or if you want to think differently, depending on what goals you have. Okay. My coaching always keeps your goals in mind. So when we are working together, we see if your thoughts and feelings are driving the actions you want to achieve your goals. Okay. And if they aren't, we put a plan into place to change how you're thinking or feeling. All right, so I've covered what a life coach is, how they can help, and how there are different specialties of life coaching, and the basis of how I coach my clients. All right, now I'm going to share with you how this is different from traditional therapy in my perspective. Okay, this is not fact. This is my perspective on life coaching versus therapy. And I think that's very important to call out here. Okay. I am not saying one is better than the other, but they are just different. All right. And I think it's important for us to see all the options that we have available. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast. Traditional counseling and talk therapy likes to evaluate why you are doing specific actions, why you think the way you think. And it dives deep into our past and is more of an evaluation of certain behaviors that we have. Now, there are therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy that focuses on thoughts. So I'm not saying a blanket statement here about all therapy and all counseling. I do know that some therapies do look at how we're thinking and help you change thoughts. All right. I'm not saying it's a blanket statement. I just want you to stay with me here. This is a very touchy subject for a lot of people, and I'm treading very lightly. All right. This is my perception. This is what my experience with is. This is what I've learned and researched, okay? I've also seen therapists. My clients see therapists. I'm very familiar with it, okay? Therapy is cathartic. It's cathartic by just having a space for you to be heard and for someone to hear you talk about your problems. That alone can be very helpful, and maybe that's all you need, okay? What I have found with my own personal therapists and counselors is that they don't help you create short-term and long-term goals. They aren't holding you accountable for taking actions towards your goals, which doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just not what they do. It's not what they do in their practice, okay? They don't question your thoughts or beliefs. They help you notice and observe and then explain the behavior that comes after, all right? A life coach calls you out on your shit. I will tell you right away if it's a thought that I don't think will serve you. Remember, our thoughts create our results. Just like a pitching coach will correct you when you aren't pitching the best way, a life coach will call out your thoughts that aren't serving you and helping you accomplish the goals that you and your life coach established at the beginning of your working relationship. Okay? Therapy typically doesn't do that, and I don't use that word lightly. Trust me, I know there's outliers. Some experts like to say that life coaching aims to motivate and create confidence in their clients. Many life coaches focus on creating a new life path, right, to achieve their goals, whereas therapy sometimes look into emotional resolutions to past problems in order to move forward, okay? In simpler terms, life coaching is about creating future results, and therapy looks at past problems in a more analytical method. Life coaching is goal and future focused. Therapy has more of a past focus. All right, the typical goals of therapy is resolving past issues. Typical goals of life coaches are to help you accomplish big goals in the future. All right, one is not better, they're just different. In life coaching, we definitely talk about your past, but in that, I show you that your thoughts about your past are either helping you in achieving what you want in your future, or they are not. Okay. Remember, our thoughts create our results. So if you are constantly thinking negatively about your past experiences, even though it happened 20 years ago, your thoughts aren't happening, your thoughts are happening today, right? And thus affecting your life today and where you go in the future. So if those thoughts don't serve you in creating results that you want, they need to be changed, right? Or at least brought to the surface and analyzed. So those are the very basic differences in therapy and life coaching. If you've tried therapy in the past and it hasn't worked, life coaching might be a better fit for you. Also, I've found with myself and my clients that you can get major growth and transformation through coaching in a short amount of time. It doesn't have to take a year or years to feel better about yourself or to stop negative behavior or to forgive a parent or an ex and to move on. You can undo years of negative behavior in weeks. Not months, several months or years, okay? But again, I can't say that for everyone. I have not conducted any trials on this. This is all what I have observed and researched and seen in my own clients and how I've applied coaching in my own life and seen the results, all right? You have to decide what you want and what you're looking for. Do you want to coach? Do you want to establish goals and then get to work achieving them, removing some obstacles, learning how to think differently and to feel your feelings? Or do you want a cathartic process of analyzing your behavior and looking at the past experiences and resolving those before you move forward, right? One is not better than the other. They're just different. A lot of my clients see a therapist and hire me as a life coach. You can absolutely do both. I think they can work together beautifully. A great way to evaluate if one is better than the other is to try them. If you haven't had a therapist in the past, or if you've had a therapist in your past, you can ask yourself if it helps you make any permanent changes. Did it help you feel better? Did you grow? If so, awesome. If not, maybe life coaching would be a better option for you. Right? And so if you're not done creating and evolving in your life and you know that there could be more you could accomplish and need some accountability, life coaching is a great way that can get you fast results. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my perception of life coaching versus therapy. Okay. I know that this is opening a can of worms for some people, and that's totally fine. And I may not have described how I believe therapy is versus life coaching, and it's all okay. All right. This is, again, my perception based on my own time, my own history of what has worked for me in the past and what I see in my clients and what I've researched and studied. All right. So again, my perception, my opinions, all of that. It's not fact. It's just ideas. All right. I also want to say, if you want to hire me as your private life coach to stop over drinking, get on in here. You guys, we've got 2 more months of 2019. That's how long it took me to permanently change my relationship with alcohol and to lose weight. All right. 2 months. We've got 2 months left to the end of the year. It is not over yet. I've got some spots open to take us through the end of the year, get you through the holidays. I would love to help you. I am not going to be offering the private one-on-one support that I am after January. So if this is something you've been on the fence about and you're ready to pull that trigger, get on my calendar for a consultation. We'll talk about your situation. I'll tell you right during that call if I think life coaching would be a good fit for you or if a more traditional method would be better. And I promise to be honest with you, I just had a call with somebody yesterday and I referred them to a more traditional approach. All right. This is about what is the best option for you, and I can help you see that. So get on my calendar. The link is in the show notes, and I will talk to y'all next week. Thank you so much. Bye.